Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a theory video, and this is a theory that I have been thinking is going to come to fruition for a while now. It's a really interesting theory and I'm excited to see it in the books, if not also the show. So this is the idea that Samwell Tarly will find the recreation method for Valyrian steel. Now I spoke about this in my season 7 predictions, albeit very briefly, which I will link below if you want to check out. I'm going to expand on it here. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Valyrian steel history, a little bit about Sam, but the bulk will be me theorizing how Sam is going to create Valyrian steel, when he's going to do it, and what kind of effect that will have on Westeros in general. So yeah, let's just jump right in. If you do like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, requests, comment below. So Valyrian steel was created by the Valyrians in the Valyrian Peninsula. It was an extremely costly metal before the Doom of Valyria, where the method for creating it was lost. No one knows how to make it now. The blacksmiths of Quahar can reforge Valyrian steel, but the method of creation is unknown. Now, Valyrian steel, as I said, was very costly before the Doom. Afterwards, its price rose astronomically. The reason it's so popular is because it's a lightweight metal that is extremely deadly sharp. It can easily cut through steel and is pretty much immune to fire. Some believe it is made by imbuing the metal with dragon fire. Others believe it is made through magics, such as blood magic or just regular magics. Again, no one really knows. So yeah, it's a really popular item. There's about 200 blades left in Westeros. A lot of lesser lords have been offered money and riches and titles to hand over their Valyrian steel blades and have apparently refused. They are that valuable. At this point, they're pretty much priceless items and are treated as family heirlooms passed through the kind of ranks of family. So a father will hand it down to his son, who will then hand it down to his son. There are some really important blades that have rich history in the Westeros world, and I'm just going to name off a few well-known ones. I mean, I could sit here and name off all of them, and I would really enjoy that. I don't think you guys would, though. It'll get pretty boring after, like, Blade 73, I mean, yeah. So there's Longclaw, the Valyrian steel blade of House Mormont, currently in Jon Snow's possession. There is Heart's Bane, the blade of House Tarly, currently in Samwell Tarly's possession. There was Ice, Ned Stark's great sword, the Valyrian steel sword of House Stark, that was melted down into two blades, which became Oathkeeper and Widow's Wail, now in possession of the Lannisters and Brienne of Tarth, respectively. Then there was Dark Sister, which was one of the Targaryen blades, which is now lost. There was the Lannister blade, Bright Roar, which is now also lost. There's a lot of these things seem to go missing, like, a lot of them seem to go missing. If I had a Valyrian steel blade, I would never let it out my sight, because a lot of them seem to just disappear. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting cool blades that, again, have a very rich history, and they are considered family heirlooms and extremely important to the family. Having a Valyrian steel sword is like, you made it. You made it. Anyway, yeah, Valyrian steel is really interesting, and as I said, I think it's going to be reintroduced into the show and books, as in being remade. It's not just an expensive metal that is very good in combat, it's essential for the wars to come. As we've seen, there are two substances that are lethal to White Walkers: obsidian, dragon glass, and Valyrian steel. Now, that makes Valyrian steel extremely important. Obsidian caches seem to be running low. A lot of obsidian is beyond the wall, which is currently inhabitable. You can't really go beyond the wall now with all of the White Walkers kind of fucking shit up. There's a lot of it under Dragonstone, but I think trying to extract it would be extremely difficult. So the idea is that because dragon glass isn't available as it once was, as we saw a lot of it got lost at Hardhome, Valyrian steel is the best option for defeating White Walkers. It's also much easier to wield, much easier to fight with. I mean, I get the whole idea that Dany is going to come with her dragons and hopefully help in the battle against the White Walkers, but you're still going to need an army on the ground. You're still going to need people fighting, and against the White Walkers, you're going to need people with Valyrian steel blades. Using steel against White Walkers is completely pointless. As we've seen in the show, it shatters on contact with them. We need people having Valyrian steel blades, and because there aren't that many left, we really need to see it recreated, and I think that is what's going to happen. But yeah, that's kind of the history of Valyrian steel. As I've said, even if it is introduced into the world again, I think it will be by Sam. It could be by someone else. I don't really know who else would. That's just what I think. So let's get a little bit into Sam's history, and then I'll talk about why I think this is going to happen. So as we know, Sam was the first son of Randyll Tarly and was set to inherit his title and lands. He was an extremely intelligent boy, but really didn't want to fight or be a warrior. This made him extremely kind of disappointing in his father's eyes, and he tried all efforts to toughen Sam up, including bathing him in blood, taking him on hunts, banning him from reading, but Sam just wouldn't listen. He wanted to listen to music and read books. So eventually Dickon, Randyll Tarly's second son, was born, and Randyll kind of passed Sam over to teach Dickon how to be the leader of House Tarly. Sam was then eventually forced to join the Night's Watch so that he couldn't inherit the lands. He did want to be a maester, but his father told him no. Sam is now in a big fuck you to his really nasty dad, because he's horrible, like, makes Tywin Lannister seem like father of the year, is now going to become a maester for the Night's Watch. At Castle Black, he was extremely interested in history and stuff about the White Walkers, and he did a lot of reading on the subject as Maester Aemond's steward. Now, Sam seems to have been entangled in this upcoming fight with the White Walkers just as much as Jon Snow. Jon has been the person fighting them. In the show, he's killed a White Walker, and he's been the person kind of rallying the defense, and seems to be, in the most recent season, rallying the North to take on the White Walker threat. Sam has been no less embroiled in this upcoming battle. He is the only person in the books to have killed a White Walker, and the very first person in the show to do it. He was the person who realised that obsidian is the lethal substance toward them. In A Feast for Crows, he found out that dragon steel was lethal to White Walkers, and it's been correctly assumed by him and Jon that dragon steel is Valyrian steel. As I said in the books, Jon didn't kill a White Walker, so Sam is the person who found out that Valyrian steel is lethal to White Walkers. So Sam has been key towards this upcoming battle for a while. Jon may lead as the kind of general, that seems to be the way it's going. He's going to kind of lead the fight against the White Walkers, but it seems that Sam's knowledge is going to be just as, if not more, important. So one of the reasons I think that Sam is going to recreate Valyrian steel is pretty simple. It's the fact his storyline is still included in the show. Not to be mean, but they have 13 hours left to tell us everything, to kind of sum up Dany landing in King's Landing, to sum up Cersei's fall, to sum up how the kingdoms are going to be unified, to sum up how Jon and the North is going to either rejoin or claim independence, to sum up how they're going to defeat the White Walkers and then recreate the kingdoms after. They have 13 hours left to do that. So I think the reason they're still including Sam's storyline is because it's going to be extremely important later down the line. I mean, why include it just for comic relief that it seemed to be in the season finale? I mean, I don't think they included Sam just so we could make people laugh. I think they included his storyline because it's going to be really important, and that's why they're still following it. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons for me, the fact they're including his storyline. I don't think he's just going to go and become a maester. I think he's going to go, train to be a maester, and through all of this information and his kind of intelligent mind and his way of looking at things is going to unlock the secrets to creating Valyrian steel. Now, the question is, how is he going to recreate it even if he finds out the method? So Sam might find the method. He might go and become a maester, kind of find out how to recreate it, but the issue might be that he doesn't have the means to create it. If it's created, as many think, by dragonfire, that timeline alone again supports this theory. Dany is landing in King's Landing soon. No pun intended. She will be taking on Cersei, and she's probably going to win. What better way than her dragons to have a real effect but to create Valyrian steel? The timeline, to me, is too coincidental. Sam goes off to become a maester. The White Walkers are this ever-imposing threat. Jon is trying to rally people to fight the White Walkers. Dany lands with her dragons. It's all a little bit too kind of convenient for me. I get that the dragons are going to have an effect on the war and are going to fight the White Walkers, but I think they alone can't be trusted to do it, especially since dragons typically don't do well in the snow and storms, which, as we've seen, the North is full of at the moment. So I think the idea is that Dany's dragons will be significant in recreating Valyrian steel, a weapon to be used against the White Walkers. Again, that timeline to me just adds up perfectly. The White Walkers are coming, Jon is fighting them, Sam finds the method, the dragons land, he uses the dragons to create Valyrian steel to bolster Jon's army with these blades that will really affect how the army fights the White Walkers. I think that timeline's a little bit too coincidental, unless it plays out the way I think it will. So yeah, I think Sam is going to recreate Valyrian steel in this way. I think that as well, his storyline has been lending to this. He's had a lot of connections with Valyrian steel. In his possession is Heart Eater, the blade of House Tarly, which has been mentioned a couple of times in the books. I think they did include it in the season finale as a little bit of a shout to the book fan, but I think it's more than that. I think the idea that Sam now holds a Valyrian steel sword, his best friend Jon holds a Valyrian steel sword, that just kind of re-bolsters the connection for me. And also House Tarly's Valyrian steel sword is one of the most famous in Westeros, so again it lends to that idea that he'll recreate it. It's also to do with his story arc. Sam has been this person who's always been very intelligent but never a great fighter. He's always been kind of ridiculed for not being able to fight and being more interested in books. How satisfying if he is the person to recreate the greatest fighting weapons of all time. He may not be able to fight, but he's just recreated this amazing weapon. I think that'd be so awesome, and a big fuck you to his evil dad. Like, he's such an asshole. Like, fuck him. Fuck him. I hope Sam recreates Valyrian steel and it's like, fuck you, dad. Fuck you. Look at your other son. He's shit. Look what I did. That is what I want to happen. Like, I do not love Randall Tarly. I mean, he's weirdly attractive. I'll give him that. Creepy, because he's probably old enough to be my dad or possibly grandfather, but, you know. Okay, yeah, I think it'll be such a satisfying story arc for Sam, and it seems the show is leading more that way. It's lending to the idea that all storylines will become really satisfying and have this really pretty, nice arc, and I think that works for Sam as well. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen with Sam. I think it's going to lead to him recreating Valyrian steel and kind of arming the soldiers against the White Walkers. This will have a huge effect on the White Walker threat. Having these deadly blades in their possession will make it much easier to kill the White Walkers, and as well easier to kill the Whites. I mean, steel works fine against them, but Valyrian steel is going to cut through them like butter. It's going to cut through them like I cut through blackberry cheesecake, okay? It's just going to whoosh, and they're dead. So I think it's really important, and it will also flood the market with more Valyrian steel swords. Let's say they win this battle against the White Walkers. The reintroduction of Valyrian steel is going to be really key for Westeros economically as well. It's going to give the blacksmiths a lot more work. It's going to kind of possibly give the maesters a lot more work if they're teaching everyone how to do this. It's going to create really big trade opportunities with Essos. And I think after the White Walker threat, after the kind of War of the Iron Throne, Westeros is going to be in a pretty sorry place economically. This could be a huge bolster for trade and for kind of getting work to the people. There are a few issues that Valyrian steel does create, though, and Sam rediscovering it. The maesters are completely, utterly anti-magic. There's a rumour that the battle at Summerhall, the reason the dragons didn't hatch was because the maesters intervened to stop them hatching. The maesters are staunchly anti-magic. I don't know why. If you could have magic, why not? But they are. So I think if Sam finds the method for recreation and it turns out to be imbued with magic and he needs to say spells, I think the maesters will try and sabotage him. They'll try and sabotage him recreating Valyrian steel. Again, the rumour is they stopped dragons hatching because it involved magic. So yeah, I think that Sam might run into some problems, but I think overall, in the show especially, I think it'll be pretty simple. Again, they are time restricted on these storylines. So I think he's going to recreate it, and it's going to be a huge, huge help for Jon Snow and the armies fighting the White Walkers. So yeah, that's just my opinion. You may disagree or agree. Comment below with your own theory and I will get back to you. And yeah, I'll probably be back next week with another theory video or maybe something a little bit different. But I do hope you enjoyed, and I will link the relevant videos, the Season 7 predictions and the White Walker video below so you can check those out if you want to. And I do hope you enjoyed, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye!